Welcome to 278 Worthington. We just closed on this today. It's a fourplex. We picked it up for just a hair under $406,000. We've got 4 units in there with a rooming house, and it cash flows really well. It does need a bit of work, but we did get a great VTB on it. We like it. We hope you do too.
The reason I wanted to highlight this deal is because this is like our meat and potatoes deal. This is the type of deal that's allowed us to grow our portfolio to more than 70 doors. This is the type of deal that's allowed us to quit our 9-to-5 jobs, both Brent and myself and the Jessicas. And yes, both our wives' names are Jessica, just to make things super clear. So if you're still interested, let's get into the deal, how we've used none of our own money and how we've made both the seller and the buyer super happy in the end. Finding the needle in the haystack is finding a great deal in a sea of bad deals. So we usually use the MLS listing, the multiple listing service, and we use that because you can find any place that is actually on the market in any region. You just basically put your criterion points into the MLS search engine and it pops up with results, you know, the things that you're looking for. We also have a lot of real estate agents that funnel us deals. These are people that we've developed relationships with over the years, and we found that this is a great way to find deals before they hit the market. On this particular deal, however, we did use the MLS system, and we found this deal that had an offer on it, but it fell through, and we're finding more and more of this. But we did find the needle in the haystack, and we pounced. The next step is called treasure or trash. We call it running the numbers. Basically, is you're building a treasure or is it a piece of trash, and the numbers will tell you. It's got to put cash flow in your pocket every month, and if it doesn't, it simply isn't worth even having a look at. Add up all of the expenses and you subtract that against the rents and you see if you're cash flow positive. It's not rocket science. Now, the numbers on this building were super good. It was basically paying the mortgage and the second mortgage, which is the VTB, then all your utilities, your hydro, your gas, your insurance, everything else. And once we added up the rents, it was $4,347, and we took away our expenses, which was $3,320. That left us with $1,027 a month. That's cash flow, that's money in pocket. Once we decided that the building was cash flow positive and we were going to make over $1,000 from it, we decided to move to the next step. The next step is called using OPM, or other people's money. Now, once we saw that the building was cash flow positive, we moved to the next step, which was contacting the real estate agent to ask if the seller would do a second mortgage or a vendor take back mortgage on it. What we often do is we tell the real estate agent how much the seller will be making over the loan period. In this case, I simply called the real estate agent and I asked them to lend us $81,198. This is the cost of the down payment. Now, before the real estate agent fell over, I also told the real estate agent that we would be paying them interest on this loan and that the interest would accrue over a 5-year period, and this seller would end up making thousands and thousands of dollars more on the deal. So the seller's essentially getting over asking price. Now, not all sellers like doing this vendor take back mortgage. Most sellers like getting all their money at once, but we find that sophisticated sellers often want not only the asking price, but they want the added interest, and they know that they will not be paying a huge capital gain tax at the end of the first year. It'll be spread out over multiple years, and they're going to save thousands on that capital gain tax. And step number 4 is called taking it all in, and it's actually visiting the building to have a look at it. Now, when I tell my friends and family about the types of deals we do, they say it's kind of odd that you wait so long to go and actually walk through a building to see what it looks like. And I don't think it's odd at all, because basically if the numbers are right, you can do a cosmetic renovation on each unit and make it look better once people move out. You're not going to go in and do everything all at once. When we saw this Worthington property for the first time, we weren't at all surprised to see that some of the units were pretty rough. The people inside the unit weren't exactly molly made. They weren't taking care of it, but nothing was falling apart horribly, and there wasn't one meth lab to be found. When you're essentially getting a building without putting any of your own money into it, it's easy to overlook some of these unpleasant things in apartments, the need for a paint job or new flooring or some cosmetic updates. So we did go through the building and we did find that it was basically a solid building with good bones, and everything can be done on top of that. Step number 5 is called show them the money. And this is when you take an asset from your portfolio and you use it as collateral to secure the loan. Now, not many people are going to lend you $80,000 without you putting up some collateral or an asset to guarantee their loan against. Now, what we did to make this seller sleep better at night is we found a building in our portfolio that had $81,000 in equity in it, and we put something called a blanket mortgage on it. It's basically a mortgage that says, listen, if we screw up and we don't make our payments, you can get your equity out of this building where the equity is already there and it's already paid for. So we find that this is a guaranteed way, once you get to this step, to make the seller agree to the deal. Now, I don't want to mislead people and say that these deals are easy to pull off. It took us many, many years of building a portfolio where we had assets that we could use as collateral for these types of deals. Also, the lenders, the big 5 banks, the conventional banks in Canada are not going to do this type of deal. You're going to have to find a credit union or an alternative lender that will let you borrow 20% from the seller, and they will front you the other 80% over the course or the life of the mortgage. Nowadays, the only thing our lenders require is an appraisal on the building, and somebody has to go in and appraise the building and make sure that it is worth the money that they are lending us. The last step is called maxing out on cash. Now, I'm going to let Brent walk you through this in the actual building.
What we're going to do is we're going to purchase, or we have purchased, we'll show you after we put them in, but you get conversion kits, which will turn these into coin operated. The water bill, like one water bill for all 4 units can be astronomical. So this is just another way, if everybody's paying all-inclusive prices for this, this is one way of cutting down your costs. So more often than not, what we'll find is a multifamily building that has separate meters, but not everybody's paying their own hydro. So we're buying these to hold for a long period of time, and the changes that we make are going to occur over a long period of time. So as tenants move out, we're going to eventually get them paying their own hydro. When we're finished with the building, it's going to be a fully operating business.
Now, some people like to do calculations where they're taking into account appreciation and mortgage pay down. Now, appreciation is a hypothetical thing that you're hoping for in the future. We're cash flow guys, we don't really get into that type of thing. Now, if you wanted to do some speculating, you could do it like this. The North Bay market is expected to appreciate about 10% over the next year, which is a little higher than the 8.6% that Ontario is expected to experience. Now, if you added 10% to the price that we paid for the building, you would be getting about $40,000 in appreciation that first year alone. In addition to that, we'd also be paying down about $12,000 off the mortgage. So you could add that to the $40,000 to make yourself sleep better at night. Now, if you added the $40,000 that you would get in hypothetical appreciation to the $12,000 you could get on mortgage paydown, in addition to the cash flow you'd receive each year, I think you're sitting at about $65,000 on this particular deal, which is not bad for a no money down deal. Now, the reason we only focus on cash flow is because the economy could go to hell in a handbasket, property values could plummet, and you'd still be making money because you have a good cash flowing building. It's a bulletproof strategy, and it hasn't let us down yet. So there you have it. This is our meat and potatoes deal that's allowed us to quit our jobs and build a 70-door portfolio. It's pretty simple if you follow the basics. We hope you enjoyed this adventure in landlording, and we'll see you next time.